The next lipids were compound or conjugated lipids. So we have studied in simple lipids, they consist of fatty acids along with alcohol. It may be a glycerol or anything. Here, this compound or conjugated lipids, they also consist of fatty acids with alcohol, but in addition to these fatty acids and alcohol, they contain some other substances. In addition to the esters of fatty acid and alcohol, if they have some other substances were present, they were called as compound or conjugated lipids. So again, this compound or conjugated lipids, they have subdivided into 4 different classes, right? Phospholipids, lipoproteins, glycolipids, right? And in that, the first one is the phospholipids. And here, phospholipids. Here, what the phospholipid consists of? They consist of fatty acid is present and alcohol, glycerol is present. In addition to this, there is a phosphate group is also present. What is present? Phosphate group is also present. And where these phospholipids are present? These are present in plasma membrane. In the structure, if you see the structure of the plasma membrane, this is the double membrane structure, right? What it consists of? It consists of hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tail. It is a lipid bilayer, right? So hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tail. If we see the head region, this is the head part, which it consists of glycerol and phosphate is present, right? This is the head part. Here, this head region, it consists of glycerol. Attached to this, phosphate group is present, and this is called as, this is hydrophilic in nature. Hydrophilic means what? It is soluble in water and it is a polar. Okay, this glycerol or phosphate group, which is head region, is hydrophilic and water soluble in nature, and whereas tail region are present, 2 fatty acids were attached, right? This tail region is hydrophobic, that is water insoluble or non-polar in nature. And here, within the same molecule, both hydrophilic and hydrophobic characters were present, and that molecule is called as amphipathic molecule. What it is? Amphipathic molecule. Examples for these phospholipids were lecithin. So what is the example for the phospholipid? Lecithin. What is another name for the lecithin is phosphatidylcholine. What is another name for lecithin? Phosphatidylcholine. If we see the structure of this phosphatidylcholine or lecithin, we'll see here, this is what, this is the glycerol. What the actually it consists of? See, it consists of 3 carbons and hydroxyl groups are present, which will form the linkages with the fatty acids, right? Here, this is the first hydroxyl region, second hydroxyl region. Here, fatty acid 1 and fatty acid 2, 2 fatty acids were present. These 2 fatty acids, they form the linkages with the first 2 hydroxyl groups. And next, to the third hydroxyl group, what is attached? Phosphate group is attached to this. Nitrogen containing choline is also attached here. Because of the presence of phosphate group attached to the nitrogen containing choline, this is called as phosphatidylcholine. This is called as lecithin, is also called as phosphatidylcholine. And what is the function of this lecithin in our body? If you see, it is present in the bile. This lecithin is present in the bile, and which is for emulsification of fats. And this lecithin forms, it will act as a surfactant in lungs. What is the function of the lungs here? In the lungs, there is a free passage of gases takes place, supply of oxygen takes place, right? Here, for the free flow of gases, there is a surfactant is necessary. And this lecithin will act as a surfactant in lungs and reduces the surface tension. And another conjugated lipid is the lipoprotein. Lipoprotein, that means it consists of lipids plus proteins. And where these lipoproteins were present? These lipoproteins are present in the membranes of the cells. Membranes of the cells, they contain lipoproteins. And these lipoproteins are of 2 types. They were high density lipoproteins and low density lipoproteins. High density lipoproteins are also called as, in shortcut, they were called as HDL, and low density lipoproteins were called as LDL. These high density lipoproteins, they form the good cholesterol and they were part of a plasma membrane, whereas the low density lipoproteins are commonly called as bad cholesterol because they deposits in the walls of the coronary artery. What is the coronary artery? This is the artery which supplies blood to the heart, and here this bad cholesterol or LDL will deposit in the coronary artery, forms of blockages in the coronary artery and causes a disease called as atherosclerosis. Causes atherosclerosis, and this atherosclerosis also called as coronary artery disease. It is also called as coronary artery disease. In shortcut, it is called as CAT. In shortcut, it is called CAT. And third one is glycolipids. Third one is glycolipids. Here, the glycolipids means the lipids attached to the carbohydrates. The lipids attached to the carbohydrates, they were called as glycolipids. Where these glycolipids were present? They were present in the myelin sheath. Where this myelin sheath is present? In the nerve fiber or in the neuron, there is axon structure is present which is covered with the myelin sheath, right? That myelin sheath is made up of the glycolipids. And not only that, it is also formed the outer surface of the cell membrane of the chloroplast also. And fourth one is chromolipids. Chromo means color or pigment, right? They consist of the pigments, they were called as chromolipids. They include carotenoids. Examples for these chromolipids are the vitamin A and carotene. Vitamin A is a fat soluble, no? Vitamin A, D, E, K will come under the fat soluble vitamins, right? So this vitamin A will come under the chromolipids, and in addition to this, carotene also example for the chromolipid. And third lipids are derived lipids. Here to this derived lipids, steroids are included here. These steroids, they were not actually contain the fatty acids, but they have the properties of the lipids. So these derived lipids are not exactly the fatty acids, but they contain the property of the lipids. The most commonly studied steroids are the sterols. Within the sterols, we will study about the cholesterol. Okay. If we see the cholesterol structure or the steroid structure, it consists of 4 fused carbon rings. How many rings are present? 4 fused carbon rings are present. For example, this is the carbon ring 1, 2, 3, 4. It may be A, B, C, D for example. In that, the first three rings means what? This one, and this one. These 3 rings will have hexagon structure. These 3 are hexagons, and the 4th ring is a pentagon structure. Okay, 3 hexagons were present and 4th ring is a pentagon. So here in the pentagon structure, in the 17th carbon region, there is a side chain was attached to this. This is the structure of the cholesterol. And if we see the cholesterol, this cholesterol was first isolated from human gallstones. Where it is isolated? It was first isolated from the human gallstones, and it is found abundantly when compared to the plant tissue. It is abundantly found in the animal tissue. And the people who eats high amount of the animal fat, they have the cholesterol depositions, right, when compared to the vegetarians. Food rich in the animal fats, they contain cholesterol. And these sterols are different types depending upon the origin. Some are the plant origin, some are animal origin, some are the fungal. The plant origin, the steroids derived from the plant are called as phytosterol, and the sterols derived from the animals are called as zoosterol, and the sterols, if they were derived from the plasma membrane of the fungi, they were called as ergosterol. If we see the example for the phytosterol is stigmasterol. Stigmasterol is obtained from the soya bean, and cetosterol is obtained from the wheat. And examples for the zoosterol is cholesterol. And where this cholesterol is found? It is found in the brain, nervous tissue, skin, liver. And it is an essential component in the animal plasma membrane. It is abundantly present, and it is essential component of the animal plasma membrane, and to that plasma membrane it provides strength. It strengthens the animal plasma membrane. And if you see the functions of plasma membrane, it provides a fluidity to the plasma membrane. The fluidity nature of the plasma membrane is because of the presence of the cholesterol. And here, the bile salts and acids derived from the cholesterol, they were important for fat absorption. For the fat absorption also, they were important. And some hormones like corticoids and male hormones like androgens and estrogens, female hormones, they were derived from these cholesterols only. And vitamin D3 is also derived from the 7-hydroxycholesterol only. And the next one is the prostaglandins. These prostaglandins, they have been derived from the unsaturated fatty acid, polyunsaturated fatty acid like arachidonic acid. This prostaglandins was derived from the arachidonic acid. It causes inflammation and contraction. And with this we have completed the lipids.